welcome back. I'm literally coming to you from my kids' picnic table because we are going to be planting some yarrow today. I purchased it down the road at a local nursery and greenhouse, and she has all of her perennials on sale. I already told her I would be coming back probably next weekend because she will be closing up for the year. I have been there almost every weekend for the past month. I just absolutely love going there. I purchased some Lysianthus, I purchased some Rebecca from there. We have purchased hydrangeas and a lot of other perennials that you'll see along this property last year, and I just love going there. I got some zinnias from her as well. Last year I did get some extra vegetable starts, but today we are planting yarrow. Now I did plant a ton of yarrow this year from my winter sowing milk jugs. However, they have yet to bloom. They are still putting their roots on, and I also did seed start them not too long ago with you guys when we were getting some of our cool hardy annuals in. I also decided to start some perennial yarrow because it is such a great filler flower. And I am also very fortunate that last year, before I started getting into flowers, I was mostly prepping my vegetable garden. I took a packet of perennial seeds and I just dumped them right alongside here, and it must have had some yarrow seeds, and they bloomed this year, so I have been lucky enough to pick up some of those. They are all white. I did add some of those with some feverfew that I started this year to some of my bouquets, but I really want a perennial area just of yarrow. I wasn't sure where I wanted to put it because my cut flower garden, I'm not sure how long those rows will be there, so I don't want to put anything that is perennial there, but I did need something that had a lot of sun. I am going to be putting them by a window, and the reason why I'm over here is because it's literally right next to our central air unit, so it's super loud. But I do only have one peony bush there. I did all of my dahlias last year and it was great. However, it was very hard for me to reach everything that was up against the house, and then anytime the wind blew them by the house and the siding, it ended up taking some of the petals off, or they would get squished and ruined. So I decided not to put my dahlias there. Then I was going to put zinnias there, and then that just didn't happen either. So I figured, let's just do all of my yarrow there. So if it grows and spreads, that is totally fine. It won't be competing with my peony bush, so it will still get all the sunshine that it needs for the spring. And then once that peony bush dies back and I take the rest of the blooms off or deadhead it, I can have my yarrow growing in. We did earlier seed start some white yarrow. I also started some summer berries and I believe an apricot, but I'm not 100% positive. Then one night this week, I actually took some yarrow that I saved from a bouquet that I got at the end of June. I was very excited because a lot of my students for graduation gave me flower bouquets, and I saved some of the yarrow stems and I let them dry, and they actually produced some seeds. So I figured, why not? I literally just took the seed head and I crushed it up and I put it onto some seed starting mix. So I have that going now. I want to say I started it Thursday, so that would be about 2 days ago. Yeah, Thursday night. So 2 days. So I'm not quite sure if they're going to be viable seeds, but I figured, why not? I had the space on my heat mat. I was going to start some more things today, but my snapdragons, I think this is the last day that they need to be on the heat mat, and then I'll pull them off tomorrow. But I didn't get anything really prepared for today. I did start my flower farm stand, so definitely check that out. I did a little video of how that went. It is still in progress, so hopefully we were able to meet my goal, so definitely check out that video. But today we are going to be getting a head start on our yarrow. Again, this is a perennial, something that I definitely want as a filler flower, and I am going to be trying to add as many perennials as I can. That way I can just have some flowers that will come up every year, and I won't have to start them from seed like my annuals. So let's show you where I plan on getting them into the ground. So let's go take a look as to where I'll be planting them. All right, now this is where I plan on planting all of my yarrow. It has been taken over by weeds. When I first started working in this area, it was all daylilies, and I plucked those suckers out as fast as I could and gave them away for free. So I do have my one peony bush, and lo and behold, this is where my dahlias were. I left one in the ground, and somehow here in Massachusetts, where it was freezing cold this winter and snow, one somehow overwintered. I probably will never be able to do that again. I do have to watch out though, because I do have our sprinkler system here. So there's a little cap right there. There is a spout and a sprinkler. So I will take this dahlia out when it is time to, in the late fall when there's a first frost. But I need to till and weed this area, and this whole entire patch is actually pretty darn big. I will be planting these beauties. So this right here is Tutti Frutti Apricot Delight, and I don't have this one, so I am just thrilled to be adding. I got 6 plants. They were on sale, so I just love these colors. This is the color palette that I plan on going for next year in the spring. I want those mauve tones and the pink and apricot. So this is going to be perfect. I'm going to try and get some more dahlias and straw flower around this color and zinnias, because I just absolutely love this color palette. So let's get to weeding. I will till this lightly, and then we'll get these into the ground, and I plan on putting them just in the back, so that way I can use all this room later on when my seedlings start to get planted in. All right, already looking so much better. I actually am just going to use a rake or a tine, because I don't want to mess up any of the water plumbing for the sprinklers, but I will mostly just be planting right along the edge over here, and I won't be touching this area until I get my seedlings in. All right, so I have my yarrow over here, and I'm just looking at it, and I think it might be a few plants in this container right here. If that's the case, I'm gonna tease them apart and spread them out a little bit. Again, this is the Tutti Frutti variety. It says Apricot Delight. So I gave these a good rinse. I'm also going to give them a nice soaking once they are planted. I'm going to see if we can get them out, because I mean, look, the roots are just coming out of the pot. So I feel like I give it like the Heimlich. I just keep squishing it, and then that way hopefully it will loosen up. Oh yes, lots of roots, and I always save these containers. They're great for potting up. So let's see if this is one plant. All right, so this one is actually one whole plant. It's just branching out nicely. So this one will stay. I'm going to just work my way to the next one. I believe actually, you know what, they might be all just one plant. So we're gonna give it, I call it like the Heimlich, a couple of good squeezes, and it will pop right out for you. And again, I like to save the containers. You never know what you might need to pot up or even overwinter. So we have 2, and I'm just going to lay them down ever so gently, because I would love to be able to use these in my bouquets. So they probably won't see too much sunshine here, because whenever I have a bouquet, I probably will harvest from them. I try getting some of the taller stems and ones that aren't fully open yet. All right, so again, this one, yep, I think they're all just one nice healthy plant. All right, moving on, squeezing it down and pulling it out. So we'll get these all in. All right, I have them spaced. I really wish I got one more, but don't worry, I'm going again probably tomorrow or next weekend. I can pick one up, so I'll probably put one more there. So that still gives me plenty of space to work with for all of my seedlings. I'll move those in hopefully in a few weeks or so, or at least by September. So we have these in. I'm going to get them planted and we'll be all set for the day. All right, and just like that, we have our yarrow in. Now, when I was getting those into the ground, I was also making sure that they were well watered in the hole because it is very sandy over there. And I also added some worm castings. As you can see here, I have them all in the ground. I probably will be purchasing one more just so that way I can have one over to the left to just even it out with 4 in the back and 3 in the middle. And we still have plenty of room for all of our seedlings. I'm not quite sure with her closing up next year if she'll put her perennials even lower, but I mean, I got those at $5 each, which I thought was such a steal. And she does have her annual, so maybe I'll get some Rebecca to add in anything that I could consider as a cut flower. She does consider her dahlias as annuals, and I saw she had a couple more cafe au laits over there. Even though I think I have like 6 from her, I feel like you can never go wrong with a few more. She also put out a lot more Lysianthus. Well, I might not be getting those. We'll see what else she has. Even sometimes it's nice just to get a plant and be able to harvest the seeds later on in the fall. So that's also an option there. Hey everyone, I just wanted to hop on because I mentioned before that I was taking some yarrow that I let dry from a flower bouquet that I received back at the end of June from graduation from some of my kids. And I literally just took it in my hand, crushed it up, put it on some soil, covered it with vermiculite, and crossed my fingers and hope for the best. And you will not believe what happened. I had insane germination. I can't believe it. So this is a white yarrow, and one of them was also like a pale pink as well. So I'm just going to pull the trays out. They're on a heat mat, but the heat mat is not on. I just have been too lazy to take it off because these will be moving and I will be starting some more seeds this weekend. But I was just thinking about it. And here is the yarrow. Now, it's probably not the best lighting. I might have to turn the camera around so you can see it better. But you'll still see, like in these trays right here, there are still pieces that I crushed up. And I mean, this is clearly overseeding to the max, but I really didn't think this would work. So I just tagged it as Mystery Yarrow. So today is going to be July 31st, and I put these on the soil on July 27th, I believe. Oh, sorry. So I just labeled it Mystery Yarrow July 25th. And I can't believe, so I have this whole entire tray right here. So I'm actually just gonna let them do their thing right now. And then when it comes time to planting out, I will tease them apart so they're not in these big chunks. But I had these trays left over because I was originally going to start my dahlias in them. And I just never got to it. I kind of forgot about them. But I wanted to show you this one. I do need to spray them a little bit. So this is also right here. These 6 cells are also going to be, and you can see there's little gnats. So I tried making my own seed starting mix, and I used peat moss, and I totally forgot when pre-moistening it, I didn't use boiling hot water. So unfortunately, I do have some fungus gnats, but I do have those little butterfly traps, little sticky pads, and they've been helping out a lot. So if you see anything flying, it's those dang little gnats. I'm trying to get rid of them. But in these 9 cells right here, this is actually going to be the Love Parade yarrow. And I sprinkled, again, super heavy on them. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe. They're just actually popping out way later. I don't know if it's because these are like super fresh seeds, but the germination rate is insane. And I am just so excited because I'm going to add them to that yarrow patch once they get a little bit bigger. I also have up above somewhere, oh, here's some yarrow right here. So this is the yarrow that we started together. And I didn't have very much luck with the flower burst. I have a few of them here. Some of them are spotty, but I do have a lot going on. This is the white yarrow that I have, and oh my gosh, I gotta put more sticky traps on these because you can see them and they're driving me absolutely insane. So, but yeah, so we're gonna have a ton of yarrow going around. So right here, this is going to be the flower burst. It didn't germinate quite as nicely as this is going to be my white mix right here, but you know what, it's fine. I have some that we did earlier this weekend. And then with this mystery yarrow, I should have plenty of yarrow to go around. I'm actually going to that nursery and I'll be buying more probably because they're closing up this weekend. And this is literally what I had. I kept them in my solo cups, and this is just the yarrow, and there's still some probably in here, and I just took my hands and crushed it. So I have this one. I bagged some in here, so I still have some seeds in here so I can sprinkle some more if I need to. I might just, if I have the time to do it. And then I just have some more dried up yarrow in my solo cups. So I might try this again because I didn't know it would work, but I'm thrilled. So that's just a little quick update on my little yarrow experiment. So hopefully that patch will be nice and full come next year in 2026. So thanks again so much for hopping on. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you haven't already subscribed, I would love for you to do so. It says about right now that 80% of the people that watch my videos are not subscribed. So stay tuned. We have a lot of happening, especially in the fall and preparing for next year. We'll be winter sowing again. There's always so many fun things to do around here as we are doing vegetable garden, starting dabbling in some cut flower garden, and I got my roadside flower stand up. So again, happy gardening, and I'll see you next time.